Jalen Green is arguably the best player in high school basketball and is currently ranked the #1 shooting guard prospect on all recruiting platforms. Jalen has stayed at the top of the national rankings for most of his high school career, which says a lot, especially with all of the talented guards in the 2020 class. The 17-year-old already has many people thinking he's an easy one-and-done prospect and a lock to be selected in the lottery of the 2021 NBA draft. And you know what? If we're just going off of raw talent as a basketball player, this doesn't seem like much of a stretch. He fills all the sliders you want in an NBA 2 guard: athleticism, playmaking, shooting ability, finishing at the rim, and the list goes on. He truly is a special talent that will make an immediate impact at whatever college he decides to attend, that is, if he does decide to go to college after high school. But in this breakdown, we'll be taking a look at Jalen's best qualities as a basketball player and also analyzing areas of his game that need some improvement. Easily one of the best attackers off the dribble in the country, Jalen makes getting to the basket look effortless at the high school level. He's an uber athletic guard with a lightning quick first step that's very hard to contain. Jalen's at his best attacking off ball screens going right, using his craftiness to weave through the defense to get to the rim. His handle isn't very tight, but his change of pace and explosiveness off the dribble makes up for his loose ball handling. At the rim, Jalen's length and leaping ability allows him to finish consistently in the most difficult situations. Physically, he needs to put on some muscle, but I love that Jalen willingly embraces contact and he has the body control to convert in the paint when he gets bumped. What's scary is that Jalen doesn't have many dribble moves in his arsenal, yet he gets to the rim whenever he wants. He'll be nearly unstoppable off the dribble if he continues to improve in this area of his game. Since my last video on Jalen, he's really improved as a playmaker and passer. His willingness to pass the ball and get his teammates involved is something that will separate him from other guard prospects at the next level. He gets a lot of his assists pushing the ball in transition. Jalen does a good job keeping his head up and hitting the open man on the break. He seems to be getting more comfortable operating in the pick and roll. He's not always thinking about scoring when the ball screen comes. He's learning how to stay patient coming off ball screens and feeding the roller diving to the basket. He's also starting to understand that since he's such an offensive threat, the defense makes a conscious effort to collapse on him when he's penetrating. Jalen's been reacting to this well by staying under control and kicking it to the open man on the perimeter or finding his teammate cutting to the basket. He still has some work to do as a playmaker overall, but it's exciting to see the potential he has creating for others around him. I really like Jalen's upside as a defender. He has the size, length, and athleticism to guard any position on the perimeter. He has very active hands and he gets a lot of his steals in the passing lanes and from ripping opposing ball handlers. It's important though that he remains disciplined on defense throughout the course of a game because sometimes he gets in habits of taking plays off. And as a shooter, Jalen has a lot of potential to be a sniper from three-point range. His form and release is far from textbook, but he gets his shot off quick and is capable of knocking down shots from way beyond the three-point line. He's very comfortable shooting off the dribble, especially coming off ball screens. Jalen's great at getting to his spots in the mid-range area and knocking down tough 15-footers. Since his release is so quick, Jalen can also be utilized as a catch-and-shoot guy on the perimeter. Later in this video, I'll be discussing his inconsistency from beyond the arc, but when Jalen gets things going from three, he's virtually unstoppable offensively. As great as Jalen is on offense, he still needs to improve in a few areas. One thing with Jalen is that he's not nearly as effective attacking left as he is going right. A lot of his drives left are very awkward and out of control, especially when there's contact on the drive. Stronger and more athletic defenders at the next level will make things very difficult for Jalen if he doesn't become more comfortable driving left. He's been able to get away with being right-hand dominant in high school, but if he doesn't improve in this area of his game, he'll for sure get exposed at the college level. Jalen still needs to improve on valuing the basketball better. He can be very careless with the ball making passes or when attacking off the dribble. He's still learning how to be a playmaker, so naturally, he'll have some turnovers here and there. But nonetheless, Jalen needs to tighten up his handle just a little bit, and he also needs to work on not forcing the issue when he's trying to create for others. Lastly, Jalen's shot selection from beyond the arc can be very erratic at times. He settles for a lot of difficult contested jump shots on the perimeter, especially when he's having a tough time getting to the basket. Instead of letting his shot just come to him, Jalen will sometimes jack up questionable shots to try to get a rhythm. His poor shot selection is the main reason he has a lot of inconsistency from beyond the arc. When he's taking his time and not forcing the issue, Jalen becomes a really reliable threat from three-point range. He'll eventually put the pieces together as he matures, but it's still something he should focus on as he continues to develop. Well, here's my verdict. Jalen Green is a high major prospect that plans on making his college decision once the season is over. He silenced the rumors about potentially playing pro after high school, saying his main focus is going to college. Most recruiting platforms have him leaning towards Memphis, but with all the drama that happened with James Wiseman, a potential stint overseas is very possible. It's not like Jalen intends to stay more than 1 year in college anyway, but let's just see how things play out in the next few months. But either way, Jalen is a super talented player that will make an impact at whatever team he decides to play for next year. His upside is way too high for me to believe he won't be a future lottery pick. Hopefully he remains healthy and continues to improve each day as a basketball player.